What's going on, guys? JSGC here, back again with another football video where today we're going to be doing my Premier League predictions ahead of matchday number 11 in the Premier League. Going to be another big weekend of Premier League action and also the final game before we hit yet another international break. So before I do crack on with this video, do go and check out today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by SofaScore. Anyone that does check out SofaScore using my link in the description or the QR code on screen does help to support the future content created here on my channel. The SofaScore app's going to keep you guys up to date with all the latest football scores. They're going to keep you guys up to date with the latest match information, the latest statistics, the latest team news, and so much more. Not just covering football scores and info, it's got you guys covered for all the sports that you want to go and follow, all in one place, all in one app. It's a very highly rated app, and also it's free to download. Worthwhile checking out. Links and details, they are in the description. So having a look then at match day number 10 in the Premier League from how I performed last week. Not too bad. 2 correct scores, 4 correct results, 4 incorrect. A good solid 5 out of 10 from myself. So Saturday 1st of November, you had Brighton taking on Leeds. I had that down to 2-0 Brighton win. Finished 3-0. Not far away. Burnley against Arsenal. I had that down as a 2-0 Arsenal win. Spot on with that. Crystal Palace against Brentford. I had that down as a 2-1 Crystal Palace win. Finished 2-0 to Crystal Palace again. Not far away. Fulham against Wolves. I had that down as a 2-1 Fulham win. That finished 3-0 to Fulham. Managed to get a correct result there. A little bit off on the score. Nottingham Forest against Manchester United in the Mark Goldbridge derby. I had that down as a 1-0 Man United win. That finished 2-2. Spurs against Chelsea. I had that down as a 1-1 draw. Weren't sure what was going to happen in that game. Chelsea picked up a good result in North London, winning by 1-0. And the final game on Saturday, I had Liverpool to get back to winning ways with a 2-1 close game win against Aston Villa. That finished 2-0 to Liverpool, and pretty comfortable with them getting back to winning ways. And with their win against Real Madrid now, they're starting to feel like they're maybe picking up a bit of form and a little bit of momentum after Arne Slot's had a very big week in terms of pressure on his job and needing results, and back-to-back home wins for them now sets them up in a better position going away from home against Manchester City this weekend. Anyway, on to Sunday's games. I had Newcastle down as 2-0 away winners against West Ham. That finished 3-1 to West Ham, and a good result for them, so incorrect with that one. I had City down as 3-1 winners at home against AFC Bournemouth. Spot on with that one. And final game on Monday, I had Sunderland down as 2-1 winners against Everton. Weren't too far away, but was incorrect. That game finishing 1-1. So match day number 11, game starting on Saturday 8th of November. Early kickoff once more takes us to North London, and it is at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium with Spurs taking on Manchester United. And I can't help but feel like this is two teams underperformed last season. Both sides leaving a lot to be desired for this season as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see this finish level, and both managers and both sides continue to be under pressure. But I don't like predicting draws if I can help it, and I like to think to myself, is there going to be a winner? And if I'm honest with you, I could see Spurs, because they like when teams come to their home stadium who are going to try play football, going to try and make things happen. I think it suits Tottenham. They're going to be able to absorb Manchester United. They're going to be looking to try and be extra clinical on the counter-attack. And just how Manchester United play, I think, is going to suit what Spurs want to do. Have a look at Spurs' performance at the Etihad Stadium. It were brilliant by Spurs because Man City had played exactly how Spurs wanted City to play. It allows Spurs to sit deep. It allows Spurs to hit them on the counter-attack. And I have a feeling that United are going to look to try and dominate that game. So I feel like if Spurs get the opening goal, I could see them going on to win that game. I don't think it's going to finish level, so I did want to predict a winner. I think the team that scores first is going to win that game, so I'm going 2-1 Spurs win at home against United. That game kicking off at 12:30 p.m. GMT, with the game being broadcast live on TNT Sports here in the UK. So moving on to the 3 o'clock games, you've got Everton taking on Fulham. I think Everton going to get back to winning ways. I'm going with them with a 2-0 win against Fulham. I think they'll be too strong at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. And then to East London, you've got West Ham taking on Burnley. I think West Ham are going to be too strong for Burnley, so I'm going for them to pick up another victory at home, so going 2-1 West Ham win. And then in the early evening kickoff at 5:30 p.m. GMT, with the game being broadcast live on Sky Sports in the UK, going up to Sunderland at the Stadium of Light, where you've got Sunderland taking on Arsenal. I can't see anything other than Arsenal winning that game, if I'm being completely honest, despite the really good start to the season from Sunderland. I think they'll give Arsenal a game. I think they'll score a goal. Arsenal pretty sound defensively. I think Sunderland will cause them problems. I think they'll score goals, and I'm going with Arsenal, though, to make their game about quality. They'll get the job done in the end, and I'm going for a 3-1 victory for Arsenal. And then the final game on Saturday in the evening at 8 p.m. GMT, again with the game being broadcast live on Sky Sports. At Stamford Bridge, you've got Chelsea taking on Wolves. Can't say anything other than Chelsea winning that game. To be honest, Wolves really struggling. I know that they've sacked the manager, and Wolves just they're in dire straits as far as I'm concerned. But I just think that Chelsea are going to be too strong, so going for a 2-0 win for Chelsea. Then moving on to Sunday's game on 9th of November. Starting off with the 2 p.m. games, you've got 4 games kicking off at 2 p.m. at GMT, with all games being broadcast on Sunday live on Sky Sports. Starting off at Villa Park, you've got Aston Villa taking on AFC Bournemouth. I think Villa will be too strong. They'll make home advantage count. I do think Bournemouth will give them a game, and I think out of the games that we're looking at in terms of the 2 p.m. games on Sunday, I think this could arguably be the most interesting, because we're looking here at 2 very good teams in the form of Aston Villa and AFC Bournemouth. I think Villa will be too strong. They sneak the game, win by 2-1. And then to West London, you've got Brentford taking on Newcastle United at the GTEC Community Stadium. Weren't sure what to do with this one. As I said before, I don't like predicting draws, but I do genuinely think this game's going to finish level. I can see Newcastle taking points. I can't see them winning this game, so I went with a 1-1 for this match between Brentford and Newcastle. And then to Selhurst Park, you got Crystal Palace taking on Brighton at 2 p.m. as well. I think this might be a real good game of football. I think there's going to be goals. I'm going for a 5-goal thriller and Crystal Palace to get the job done. Now, Aston Villa Bournemouth, I said, I think it's going to be the pick of the games in the 2 p.m. games in terms of the football spectacle, but in terms of goals, I think the Crystal Palace Brighton game is going to deliver. I do think Crystal Palace are going to race into the lead, so I'm going for them to race into a 3-goal lead by half time, and I'm going for Brighton to put in a much better performance second half and get back into the game in a bit of a grandstand finish. But going 3-2 Crystal Palace, I think they'll be too strong for Brighton in the end. And then the final game at 2 p.m, you've got Nottingham Forest taking on Leeds. I think Leeds might struggle in this game, and I'm going for Nottingham Forest to pick up a big 3 points. So I'm going 2-1 Nottingham Forest in a pretty big game down towards the bottom of the Premier League. And then for me, game of the weekend at 4:30 p.m. GMT, a game with the game being broadcast live on Sky Sports, takes us back to Manchester and back to the Etihad Stadium. You got Manchester City taking on Liverpool. Both teams really want to lay down the gauntlet as they're serious about competing with Arsenal at the top of the Premier League. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm looking at this game, and this game's going to tell me who is going to challenge Arsenal at the top of the Premier League. Man City have got home advantage, and that could be absolutely crucial. Liverpool have obviously picked up a couple of real good wins over the last couple of games. Real Madrid midweek, of course, managed to beat Aston Villa last weekend, but have they got what it takes to go to the Etihad and win that game? That's the big question. And Manchester City They seem to be grinding out and doing what they need to do to win games. Other than that Aston Villa game, it's been nigh on perfect for Manchester City for the large majority since the beginning of September. So for me, with the game being at the Etihad Stadium, I'm going for Man City once more to just put a bit more pressure onto Arne Slot. It all depends on what Liverpool's expectations are. I don't think there's that many managers available for them if they want to look elsewhere, but this is a real big game for both sides, because either team loses this game, as far as I'm concerned, with Arsenal winning, is a huge dent to their title hopes. They're not out of the title race, but they're going to struggle to win the title, going so far behind at an early stage of the season. So for me, one of these sides has to win this game, and the team that wins this game is the team that's going to compete with Arsenal. So as far as I'm concerned, I think this is the biggest game that we've seen in the Premier League this season. I know that City and Liverpool have both played Arsenal already, but as far as I'm concerned, when we're looking at the top of the Premier League, there has to be a title challenger. Who's going to compete with Arsenal as Arsenal sit top of the Premier League? Well, for me, I look at the quality and I look at what City have got and Liverpool have got, and obviously they're the two teams that we're looking at going down a familiar pattern that's been all too familiar over the last 3 years or so. So yeah, what's going to happen at the Etihad Stadium? I just think City seem to be winning games by 3-1 as of late. So I'm going for a third consecutive 3-1 win at home for Manchester City. Of course, won last weekend against AFC Bournemouth at home by 3-1. They won midweek against a very decent Borussia Dortmund team by 3-1 in the Champions League. And we're looking here at a City team that's just starting to find their feet again after the defeat against Aston Villa, and you're looking at a Liverpool side that's obviously been suffering in poor form up until then playing Aston Villa last weekend, and now back-to-back wins against Villa and against Real Madrid, and their confidence is up, City's confidence is up, and I think what you're going to see here are two teams just laying it out to each other. They're going to attack, they're going to try and score goals, and I think we're going to be in for a really interesting game of football. I think there will be a winner in this game, it's just who's going to win this game, and with City at home, I'm going for them to make home advantage count. And for me, crucial, because I'm looking at City making progress. Obviously, me being a City fan, I'm looking at City making progress on last season, and Liverpool made short work of City back in February, and I'm looking for them lessons to be learned and progress to be made, and I'm confident that City can go out and play as well as what they've been playing over the games against Bournemouth and against Borussia Dortmund. I'm confident that we can go out and beat Liverpool, and there's big question marks over this Liverpool side. Obviously just recently improved with their games at Anfield. The question is, a difficult away game in the Premier League, have they got what it takes as well to win that game and start challenging once more at the top of the Premier League after what was a good start for them in terms of results, in terms of performance? I felt left a lot to be desired, and I think that's been a pretty good summary of Liverpool's season so far. It's left a lot to be desired. So City, for me, not as strong as what they used to be, but still a very good team, and Liverpool, a very good team as well. Premier League champions, looking at a very good game of football. So yeah. What do you guys think? Do let me know in the comments below what your predictions ahead of matchday number 11. What are your thoughts as well of that big game, last game before we hit the international break, Manchester City v Liverpool at the Etihad Stadium? Do let me know in the comments below. Don't forget as well to leave a thumbs up on today's video. Let me know that you are enjoying the videos. Do subscribe as well if you're new around here. It is free to subscribe. I'm going to keep you guys up to date with all the latest football and Manchester City content here on my channel. So if you haven't already, do subscribe. Also, don't forget social media links there in the description as well if you want to go and follow me on my X, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. And finally, do go and check out today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by SofaScore. I'll see you guys all again real soon for the next video. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.